Chat so far here. Let's see what it says. Want to go live.
All right, we are live. Hello. I am Melissa Walsh. I am the producer / director of this production, and my job is made very easy by all of these people that you see on the screen who did a remarkable job. All of them were wonderful. So just a couple of little background notes I have. I got involved in this project when Lori Raybould took us to Washington, D.C. for the Handel Memorial Scholarship. And I met with people at RFK Human Rights. And that's when I became interested in doing this. They talked about wanting to produce this in Buffalo. So this is now our second time producing this in Buffalo, which is kind of fun. Hopefully in the future, we would like to do this on stage live. It's a lot more fun and interactive on stage live. So hopefully someday we will be able to do that. And now I am going to give you guys to your audience, and I'm going to have you guys all introduce yourselves, talk about which part you played and how you became interested in doing this project. I'll start with Dan because he's right here.
Well, I am Dan Morris and happy to be a part of this with a wonderful group and to be involved in this production of it, doing it on stage once before and now this new journey. And it's been just fun taking this message out to as many people as hopefully as we can reach.
Yes.
You know, that's really what it's all about.
All right. Stephen.
Hello. I'm Stephen Foreman Jr. I got involved with this project. I was notified by Alyssa and Elizabeth about this this role. I've done like nothing like this of the sort, so this was like entirely new to me. And yeah, I played the fifth male voice. But yeah, this was very fun to do. It was bittersweet because you got to hear the different stories and know that they're real, but it was fun working with this group, and it was very just engaging and just a new experience for me. So I was I'm very thankful that I got to work with you guys.
Likewise, it was a joy and a pleasure to work with you. All right, Joe and Deborah, you guys are up next.
I'm very blessed to be part of this group. I was part of the group 2 years ago when we did it on stage at the theater and at the school. And I was very glad to be part of it once again, to play a different part this time. And very meaningful for me to just give these people a chance to have their voice out there, their stories out there. And just to remind the people who are listening that you can look these individual people up. Most of their stories are somewhere online where you can read more about them and the things that they've done and the sacrifices that they've made. And I'm very happy to have been a part of this.
My involvement began with the original production as well. I was a substitute to fill in for someone kind of at a last minute who wasn't able to make it for a couple of the performances. And I, at that time, was asked to do voice number 5. So I did all of Stephen's voices last time. And so this time I did voice number 1, a number of different characters, a number of different people to be able to represent their stories. And for me, it's very personal as a Holocaust educator, and teaching genocide, not just related only to the Holocaust of World War II, but also as an author. I get to speak about these things. I've had the opportunity to do it in countries outside of the US. And so there's a very personal involvement for me with this aspect of human rights, and also being a pastor who's worked in many parts of the world and seen all kinds of things. It just rings very true and very personal for me. So to have been a part of this officially, in that sense, was a great blessing to me. So I just want to thank you all for the opportunity and for us all working together. Looking forward to when we can possibly do this again as a live presentation.
Awesome. Perfect. Brooke.
Okay. My name is Brooke Gergen, and I am actually an educator with Planned Parenthood of Central Western New York, and I run our teen reality theater department, which is like a theater for change. So I am blessed in the fact that I get to do this for my full-time job, telling people stories and giving voice to people who may not always have them. The twist here was I was the bad guy. But I really enjoyed that. And I actually asked to play the oppressor because as terrible as everything I said was, it was really fun to be evil.
All right. So, and you did a great job at it too. So
Totally believe you.
On that note, we'll bring in your partner in crime, Tim. There he is, Tim Joyce.
Hey everybody, thank you all for watching. This was just an amazing experience. I got to do the live version 2 years ago. And Brooke, you're so totally right. I've been performing for 41 years, and I can tell you the best parts are always the evil parts. You go see Othello, the best part's Iago. And the man that I just played is a million miles worse than Iago ever was. And it's very sweet to me to be part of something so powerful and to share it with so many good people and to make a statement at a really crazy time of our history. So thanks.
Thank you. You did a fantastic job. All right, Sarah.
Hello, I'm Sarah Emmerling, and I played the fourth voice. I had never even heard of this script before auditioning for this show, but I've had an amazing time working with everybody. I found it so moving to hear the stories of people who have just done astounding things with their lives. And I find it very inspiring for me to go out there and know that making that kind of a difference is possible. So I want to thank everybody in the cast also for bringing these stories to life. It's been really, really special.
Thank you. You did a fantastic job.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Yeah. Rob, are you out there, Rob? I don't
I'm
see you
here.
on my screen. Hi, Rob.
Here, you got to flip or swipe or whatever.
Something.
I also was part of this production a couple of years ago. I remember when Alyssa, I think you sent me a message. I was in New York City, and as soon as I read about it and read that it was part of the Robert F. Kennedy Library as well, I was very intrigued by it. This time around, I think it was back in April or so, I think you and I were texting each other, and I said, it seems like this is a good time to do something like this. And then the pandemic occurred, and Black Lives Matter, and the George Floyd killing. It just seemed like the timing was right to have a voice to do this kind of presentation. I recently retired as a social worker, and I feel like this is a really important thing to do, even in a retired status, to be able to advocate and educate people. So this was a really great, moving experience and very collaborative. I really loved working with everybody again.
And you did a fantastic job. And I am sorry about the editing process of this and how your one monologue got a little bit messed up. I apologize. It should have been trimmed at the very beginning.
I should have been trimmed. I'm eating so much, I should be trimmed now, right?
Stop that. You were wonderful.
It's called the Speak Truth to Power bloopers.
There is a reel.
We don't want to have that.
There is a reel for that. Yes.
Thank you, Rob. And Grace, how are you?
I'm doing good. My name is Grace Harvey. This fall, I will be a senior in high school, and I played the 8th voice. And I was drawn to this project because I like to use my acting and the platform I've created to help pass along other voices and be a mouthpiece for storytelling and activism. And so I was really drawn to this play when I found the audition, and I really loved the piece. And so I was so happy to work with you all. It has been so much fun.
Wonderful.
We were so blessed to have you. Thank you, Grace. I wish you many, many happy years in theater because you are very, very talented. All right, so we've all introduced ourselves. And so now just to make sure we keep on track with time, we have a few questions from the audience. Valerie's question is, how did you feel about the unique/adjusted acting format? So those of you who do a lot of acting, anybody want to take that? How did you feel about the unique/adjusted acting format?
Well, I've been,
Sorry, go ahead, Tim.
I've been lucky enough to act on film and in television and on stage and now online. And we spoke the other day when we were shooting that when you're on stage, it's so huge. When you're on film, you're practically whispering. The same with television. When you're on computer, you're even lower energy and it becomes even bigger. The main thing is containing all of this emotion while not going, and, you know, it really challenges you as an actor not to mug, not to make faces and stuff. So it was really a fun challenge.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's very true.
I think I had mentioned also at one point that it is a challenge when you're just listening to the voices. And I think it's a great challenge for an actor that you're able to sort of work off the voices. There were many times where I didn't even have my own image on the screen and I was working from the script. And it was really like a radio play. And I think that's really helpful because you're really listening and reacting to the other voices.
That's very true too. So Deborah, what about you? What do you think?
Doing mostly live theater, most of my acting career, I've done some in front of film. I found it a good challenge. This isn't the first thing that I did online. I think that it expands our creative abilities to do something in this type of format, something that it challenges us and it gives us an opportunity to do something more with what we have inside. So it was a good challenge for me.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, next question. We have a couple more questions here, guys. So I hope I don't skip out on anybody, but this is an everybody question. In preparing your monologues, which person or people's story or stories resonated with you and why? So anybody can take that one.
Well, for me, I don't know if there was one particular story that resonated more than others, because each was in its own individual context. There was a universality, I think, to every story, to a certain degree. Very bottom line universality there. But so for me, I wouldn't say that I necessarily particularly resonated with just one character. That just me. I think all of them had their own uniqueness, and that's a little bit of just what I tried to go for, a little bit that separated each one from the universal bottom line story as far as who the people were and so on, doing a little research on their backgrounds. So it's kind of hard to say for me that there was just one that I really identified with, maybe more than any others.
Yeah.
Fair enough, for sure.
You know, often as an actor, there's some roles or some characters you identify more with, or you have more of an affinity for, but in almost every, I would, in terms speaking for everybody, but every single monologue, you connect with these people, you're feeling what they're expressing, and how do you make one more important than another? You know, that it was also real, so.
I loved all of the characters in a special way, but I've been to Cambodia and I've been to Kenya. And so having some experience with those countries, in Cambodia, visiting the killing fields and listening to a survivor of the killing fields, made just that little bit with Kek Jalabru, that little bit of speech that I was able to say made it very real for me, because I've actually been to that country. And so that was special.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
For me, one of the, I guess, more emotional or difficult voices or individuals that I represented was Abu Bakr Sultan. And I think it's because, again, having worked in the field of social work and working with children and families, many of whom have been traumatized by various events that have happened in their life, either abuse or neglect or violence. Talking about that story of the 7-year-old boy and what he went through, I think that was a really difficult kind of a part to talk about. So I would say that was one of the people that I think had most impact on me as I was going through it.
I don't think I had a particular character or person's story that I really had resonate with me. However, there is a line that I always found powerful every time I said it, and that is, we owe something to the people left behind. So I would go into each character story with that ringing in the back of my mind.
Perfect.
Good.
Anybody else?
I was going to say, I know I didn't do any of the monologues about people's specific stories, but as somebody who works in reproductive health care and sexual health, listening to the stories of, 12-year-old women being sexually assaulted and female genital mutilation and seeking asylum, not that those stories were more or less traumatic than anything else, but for me as a woman and as a sexual health educator, those were the stories that I always found myself having more of a reaction to.
And I think I would agree with that, having Faiza's story as one of my stories. I think that was one of the ones that really resonated with me the most, and I felt it the most when I delivered the words, because I can't even imagine having to live through that and having to be that person on the other end of that mutilation and that, just absolute dehumanization. So I agree with Brooke in that sense. Well, we're getting close to 7:57. Let me just get on to the next question. Matt Beebe. Hi, Matt. I love you, Matt. I miss you, Matt. And I see Dalton's on here too. Did any structural or script changes have to be made to adjust that performance from its original format? Well, I can tell you as a director, we stayed with the entire script. We did not change anything at all. The only thing that we had to change a lot of, and I can tell you that there was a different version of this prior to the one that you saw, but there was no audio for it. So we had to go back to the drawing board this morning, reload all the clips, all the different slides of the people. There are far more pictures that we missed. And there was music and all sorts of other images that were in there. There were cuts of Brooke and Tim where there would be reactions to things.
And tap dancing.
There was no tap dancing.
We had to eliminate all the dance numbers.
But so yes, there were many structural changes, and unfortunately what you saw tonight was all of their passion that was out there as opposed to just seeing the trappings of film. So I can tell you that nothing was changed. Really all we did was just change the formatting of it. When it's on stage, as Dalton can tell you, and so can Tim and everyone else who's done it, it's a lot different. So anybody else want to talk about that? I mean, anybody have anything to add? No? Yeah.
I just want to say hi to my students for actually showing up. Thanks.
And I'm happy they showed up too.
Hey, Dalton.
And Dalton's question is next, and we'll wrap up with this one. How do you recommend now how people should act to help after watching the show? Are there any charities that you would recommend in particular? I think that's a great question. In fact, part of the film in the original form had different links that you could go to. rfkhumanrights.org has a donation page. Please see them, please donate. This is the work that they do. They help with human rights. Obviously, there's also Amnesty International. Go there, donate. And then for our local charities, we of course have the Holocaust Resource Center of Buffalo. We have Planned Parenthood of Buffalo. We have many, many others. And I don't want to take over here, so I'm gonna let everybody speak. What else? What other charities would you guys recommend?
Well, Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter, of course. What else?
This is a promotional pitch for a Young Black Voices Matter event that's happening on Facebook Live Friday, and all of the funds from that are going to Ujima Theater, which is for primarily artists of color in Buffalo. So if you're looking to make sure that people whose stories sometimes don't get told are being told, please check out Teen Reality Theater's event, Young Black Voices Matter.
Awesome.
Perfect.
The ACLU.
ACLU as well?
Yep.
Also the Equal Justice Initiative.
Yep. Equal Justice Initiative is another good one. Any others that you guys can think of?
I think you just pick what it is that you really are most affected by in the world, do some research, and work for them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Right.
donating is great, but working is better.
Right. Volunteer, do work, help people with anything you can, anywhere you can. Work with kids. If you can't work with kids, find ways to work with adults, work for companies that have, good values, those sort of things. But we are at 8 o'clock. I just wanted to say thank you for joining us. Thank you to my cast. You guys are beautiful and wonderful and awesome. You make my job really, really easy. I want to also thank Elizabeth Schramm. She has been fantastic. She has helped us out so much. She has been so involved in this project, and I really appreciate that. And Hannah Slobodkin is also,
Thank you.
yeah, and Hannah was also a huge help, very inspiring, had a lot of great ideas. She had some tech wizardry help that, when we needed it, and she was always willing to be a sounding board. And Mike Steklov, thank you so very much for everything that you did. And I'm sorry that we put you in a position where you felt really, really stressed at the end of all of this. So, but everybody, thank you.
But that's live theater.
Absolutely.
And let's thank Joe for his equipment, his
And Joe.
photography equipment.
Yep, Joe, thank you so much for helping not only with the equipment, but also with everything that you did with helping me to learn how to use it and to move it from computer to computer. Thank you for doing that as well. And Rob, I got to say thank you to you as well. Thank you for inspiring me to do this again. I'm glad that you were able to be part of this. So
Thank you.
thank you.
To the cast, it was great seeing your live performances. You all stepped up. It was great seeing you all read. We got to see something that many of you did not get to see. It was wonderful.
Yep. And the Zoom reading, thank you guys again for all your patience, because the Zoom part was super frustrating at times. So thank you very much for your patience. And I wish you all the best. Keep working. The work has just begun. So good night, you guys.
We'll talk to you all again.
Yes.
See y'all soon, we hope.
Thank
See you
you.
all soon.
See you all again.
Thank you again, Joe. Thank you,
Thank you.
Deborah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.